Moving right along, lawmakers traveling in high style on the taxpayer's dime. So is it money well spent? Well, CNN's Drew Griffin is keeping Congress honest.
In Washington, it's a rite of spring, an enduring ritual Congress just can't seem to quit.
You have taxpayers being forced to pay tens of thousands of dollars for these overpriced junkets.
Ah, yes, the siren song of an expensive military jet to whisk congressmen to far away and often exotic places. And naturally, you, the taxpayer, pick up the tab.
Yep, go ahead, going up.
Welcome aboard an $85 million government-owned Boeing executive jet. Colonel Gary Akins is the man in charge.
It's a nice way to travel.
And it's just one of several military-owned aircraft at Andrews Air Force Base just waiting for members of Congress, like Representative Benny Thompson of Mississippi. Where did he go on spring break?
Well, Virgin Islands was one of many stops.
He's the new chairman of the Homeland Security Committee. Thompson and 8 colleagues made a whirlwind trip to Mexico City, Honduras, the Virgin Islands, then Key West. Why? To check out matters of Homeland Security. One night they stayed here at the Caneel Bay Resort. Critics are pouncing on this and some of the 12 other congressional trips taken over spring break. The trips made easy because members of Congress don't fly like you and me. On board the $10,000 an hour Air Force jets, it's all first class. Movie screens, a couch, a conference area. Don Humphreys leads the flight service on board, which usually includes snacks, appetizers, and full meals.
A lot of taxpayers are going to look at this and go, what the heck?
Right.
Because we're paying for this, right? I mean,
Taxpayer dollars? Congress's long-standing rules for using military jets used to be you had to have 5 members of Congress go along, including both Democrats and Republicans. Empty seats, and there usually are some, can be filled by spouses and or staff. So keeping them honest, let's take a look at some of the high-flying spring breakers. When New York Congressman Eliot Engel chartered to the Caribbean, he took 4 other Democrats, but no Republicans. The itinerary included a tour of a home for the elderly, an historic fort, a nature center, and meetings with local officials. A spokesman for Congressman Engel said the trip was needed because countries in the Caribbean have been complaining of being ignored by the U.S. It was also a pricey trip to London and Brussels. Barney Frank, the new chair of the House Financial Services Committee, took 2 other Democrats to meet financial regulators. 7 more passengers rode along, including the adult daughter of one congresswoman. Total cost to taxpayers for that flight, $160,000. That's double what it would have cost to fly all 10 business class. Barney Frank's spokesman told us a military charter just made it a lot easier in terms of transportation. As for Congressman Benny Thompson and his Caribbean trip, at an estimated 13 hours flight time, the cost was $130,000 just to fly.
This looks like a first-class boondoggle with some information peppered in.
Well, if you look at the time that we actually spent in each area, given the fact that we spent less than 24 hours in any community, it would have been utterly impossible to do that trip commercially and logistically.
Also on along for the ride, Thompson's wife, 3 other wives, and 8 staff. And that beautiful resort?
Was Caneel Bay, was that stop a mistake?
Well, if it were not the only place available to stay, you could have justification to be critical. But if it's the only hotel on the island that had a vacancy, it could not be a mistake.
New House Speaker Nancy Pelosi promised no more business as usual in Congress. So we called the Speaker's office and asked about all these trips. We were told in an email the Speaker was unaware there was no Republican on Barney Frank's trip to Brussels and London. The Speaker does not approve most trips. And as for who does approve congressional trips, well, that is done as it was done in the past Congresses, by committee chairs. Chairs like Barney Frank and Benny Thompson. In other words, says the Taxpayers Union's Bertu, business as usual.